get things done. Why rushing till life's no fun? All I really gotta do is live and die, but I'm in a hurry and don't know why.
Welcome everyone to Off the Cuff. I am Adam Banks. Thank you for listening to another episode. I'm glad that you're listening because that means that you have survived this winter Armageddon that we've been having. Especially here in Lexington, Kentucky, the snow has been unbelievable. The snow has just been coming down inch by inch by inch. We got a total of 15 inches here in Lexington, Kentucky. I didn't have to go to work on Friday. Didn't have to go to work, thank God. So that's the beauty of working in higher education. So hopefully you didn't have to go to work either. But you know, something that I've noticed when there's a big snow or there's a prediction of snow coming in a certain area, the people freak out. You go to the grocery store, you cannot find milk or bread anywhere. And I don't understand why you can't ever find milk or bread. What is it about milk or bread that makes... Why is it that people want to get that? Do you plan on sitting in your house for 4 or 5 days eating bread and milk? I mean, that must be what you're doing, because I get knocked out of the way whenever I go into the door of a grocery store walking towards the bread aisle or walking towards the milk cooler. It's ridiculous, but needless to say, I didn't get any bread, and I got the Kroger value brand milk because that was all that was left. But I ended up grabbing that, and that was it. People were really acting like it was Black Friday in the grocery store, and it's just so silly because people think that when they have their shopping carts full that they won. They're not going to starve. They're going to be the ones that are making it while you're in your house cold and hungry because you didn't go out to the grocery store in enough time to get your food to fill your big fat gut. But anyway, I did survive the snow-mageddon that we did have here in Kentucky. I did go out, I did get my groceries, and survived it. But luckily, I was very entertained because I did buy a PlayStation 4. I bought it for myself for my birthday. That's right, I did turn 28 on January the 20th, so I'm getting older by the minute. Started this podcast when I was 26. Now I'm 28, 2 years later, and we're still kicking it. We're still rocking and rolling. My birthday, I'm telling you what, it wouldn't be my birthday if there wasn't snow on the ground. Every single year it seems like it snows. And if it's not snow on my birthday, it's snow on my sister's birthday, January the 2nd. I feel like there's going to be snow on one of our birthdays. We must switch out every other year because last year there was snow on her birthday and none on mine. And then the complete opposite this year where there was snow on mine. So I didn't get to have my full plans. My full plans was to go to the casino and with my friends and do a little bit of gambling. That didn't get to happen. I was snowed in the house, and it was basically just me, myself, and my PlayStation 4. But it was okay. The PlayStation 4 is something I bought myself, and it is the greatest gift I've bought myself in a long time. Countless hours of entertainment on that thing. Because a PlayStation, here's the thing about a PlayStation 4. I completely skipped the era of online playing. I played PlayStation. Here's how it went for me. I played Nintendo, Super Nintendo, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and then I stopped. So when PlayStation 3 came out, that's when things really started to take a turn for gaming consoles. There was the online play where you would put headphones on and you would talk and play against people online. You can play in your living room against somebody in Ecuador, in South America, as long as they had a PS4 and were connected to the internet. You could play them. I completely skipped that, so this is all new to me. Keep that in mind. Remember how excited you were when PlayStation finally came out with that feature? Well, this is new to me, so I'm just now getting to use that in 2016, a 28-year-old. But it's better now than never. So I started playing PlayStation 4. I've learned all the features on it. Well, most of the features. I know that you can do Netflix on it, which Netflix is so much better on the PlayStation 4. I've had it streaming on a Blu-ray player that's about 100 years old, and it's so slow. And now I feel like I finally stepped up my game by putting it on the PS4. The WWE Network, I've been playing that on my PS4. I used to be the biggest wrestling fan when I was a kid. from 1996 to 2004, there was no bigger wrestling fan than me. For 8 years, I watched WWF Attitude, back in the Attitude Era, back when wrestling was the real deal. Just watching the shows that were on the WWE Network, watching some of the pay-per-views and some of the Raw is Wars, that was no doubt about it, the best entertainment that was ever on television. That was it. Monday Night Raw came on Monday nights at 9 o'clock. It went against Monday Night Football. Wrestling was more entertaining than football. There was nothing more entertaining on television than wrestling, especially during the Monday Night Wars between WCW and the WWF at the time, now known as the WWE. There was nothing better. The feud between Stone Cold Steve Austin and Vince McMahon, and then over on WCW we had the NWO trying to take over the WCW. I mean, those moments in wrestling was... You can't go back and recreate that. Magic struck wrestling for that time period, and I don't think it will ever be as hot or as good as it was back in the Attitude Era, back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Wrestling was really, really the real deal, and I think that the fans that watched it back when I watched it would all agree with me. I really think that the fans that watched wrestling back in the late 90s, mid to late 90s to early 2000s would agree with me that there was nothing more entertaining than wrestling back on during those days. It was awesome. And I wish I had somebody with me here in the studio to talk about this with me. Chad would have been awesome. Chad Rainwater, who's been on the show before, he would have been awesome to be on here talking with me about the WWE Network, because it's just, he has it too. He's the one who gave me his password for it. And he would agree with me that nothing was more entertaining than that. But got to play my PlayStation 4. UK basketball was on, so I did get to watch the game, the UK basketball game. They played Vanderbilt. Now, I don't want to jinx myself, but Kentucky might be figuring things out, folks. Kentucky basketball, they played Auburn last week, and they played Vanderbilt. I'm sorry, not Auburn. We lost against Auburn. After the loss against Auburn, I thought it was over for Kentucky, but last week they played Arkansas, and yesterday they played Vanderbilt. Both a W. We won both of those games, and we beat Vanderbilt 76-57, a pretty large margin. It was at Rupp Arena, and so it's a little turnaround that the Cats have been showing. So I'm hopeful that they're going to pick it up. They play Kansas very soon on the road. That's going to be a matchup where I feel like that's going to really test the Cats. But the next game before they play Kansas is Missouri. That's Wednesday, and it's a night game. It's at 9 o'clock. And Missouri, we're always beating Missouri, I feel like. So Missouri's not going to be a problem. Then we face Kansas, and that's going to be the real test. You know, a lot of people are talking about Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly is now the new coach of the 49ers. And Chip Kelly, if you guys don't know, he was fired from the Philadelphia Eagles. You never know. There's a lot that goes into a firing of a coach. It's not just because of their record at the end of the season. It's an overall, it's a bunch of things. It's how, you deal with the media. It's how you deal with the publicity of the program. It's your record. But Chip Kelly, nonetheless, was let go from the Philadelphia Eagles, and now he becomes the head coach at the San Francisco 49ers. Good hire or bad hire? I'm going to say good hire. I think that Chip Kelly is one of the best coaches in the NFL. I think Chip Kelly could have went to college. I think he would have been fine in college. He coached at Oregon. He coached. He was very good at Oregon. He was 46-7 overall at Oregon. That's a winning record. And records don't always make you a good coach, like I was saying in the beginning. But winning is what matters in sports. It is. At the end of the day, it's who wins. And he won at Oregon. And Chip Kelly, he won in Philadelphia. And he was 26-21 overall. And I think that, again, a winning record. But he just could not get to the big dance. He could not get to the Super Bowl, and that's what everybody ultimately wants. Why? Because that means you won. That means you won it all. That means you are a winner. That's the ultimate goal of sports, is to win. For anybody to say that winning is not the ultimate goal in sports, that's just silly. Why do we play the game? We play the game to win. Okay? Why does everybody want to go to the Super Bowl? People want to go to the Super Bowl because that means you won it all. People are working to go, are playing to go, are working to go, are fighting to go to that main game, which is the Super Bowl, which, for lack of a better term, is winning. That means you won. So winning is what matters in sports, and Chip Kelly, he is a winner. And I think that he's going to do fantastic at the 49ers. I think. But we had a big show last week. Thanks to Najee Griffin for coming on the show. He is a hip-hop artist from Michigan. And he's actually from California, now resides in Michigan. He did a great interview. I think that the interview went great. We're hopefully going to be able to book Najee to come back to Lexington. I've been talking to a few bar owners and a few club promoters here in town, and I've been throwing Najee's name out there, and they said they wanted to check him out. I told them to listen to my podcast. They'd listen to it, but I told him not to. The podcast isn't going to give him justice for what he does. He wasn't doing his talent on my podcast. He was just speaking on my podcast. So I told the guy, I said, listen, if you listen to my show, it's not going to reflect what he does. You're not going to see his talent. You're just going to find out a little bit more about him. I give you my word that this guy is an entertaining guy, and he will do well at your club if you have him. That's what I said. So Najee, I am still working on it, trying to get you out there. But ladies and gentlemen, it's been awesome doing the show. Nelly, of course, is not here. This is my first podcast of 2016 by myself. And it's weird. This is actually the first podcast I've done without anybody else on the show with me. I'm talking no guest, no co-host, nothing. So, pretty nice. I like it. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for listening to the show. Always a pleasure doing it. Always have fun. We'll see you next time on Off the Cuff.
Live and die, but I'm in a hurry and don't know why. Don't know why. I have to drive so fast. My car has nothing